Explain OLTP and OLAP. Explain the difference between OLTP versus OLAP. First, let me talk about the full forms. OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing and OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing. And again, this question here, the interviewer wants to test that do you understand how to use normalization and denormalization techniques practically? So again, this question is very much connected question with normalization and denormalization database design. When you talk about systems, which have high load, let us say that you have a system, which has millions of inserts, updates and deletes. And also, it has users, a lot of users who are doing a read and a select. And you want that all of these things, should be faster. It should have high performance, as well as you don't want redundant data. So in such kind of high volume systems, what the database people do is they create two different databases. One database which they term it as the OLTP system, and another database they term it as a OLAP system. So when it comes to inserts, updates and deletes, right, it's all sent to this OLTP system. And when it comes to fetching records or doing analysis or doing reads, right, or doing selects is all done through this OLAP system. A for analytical, T for transaction. Remember that, right? Online transaction processing, online analytical processing. So in case of high systems, right, high intense systems, you cannot do with one database. You create two databases. Now, in case of this OLTP system, what you do is that you try to follow normalization. Why? Because here you don't want redundant data. You want to avoid redundant data. In OLAP systems, you want the select to be faster. So here you try to denormalize the database. Here you want that your select performance should be good. And what normally people do is, that is, as soon as the data is inserted into this OLTP system, there is a ETL process, extraction, transformation and loading, or there is a process, I will say rather, which actually goes and fetches this data and puts it into this OLAP system, right? So the interviewer wants to understand that, do you understand that for high intense systems, you have to create two different databases. One database won't do. For example, if you create a database which is using normalization technique, then your selects will be slower. If you create a database with a denormalization techniques, then the redundancy will increase, right? So to balance both of them, we segregate it. We say that inserts, updates and delete users will go to this system, and the users who want to do a select faster, who want to get reports, who wants to do analysis, who wants to see analytical data and dashboards, they will come to the OLAP system. So this user gets a high performance of read, and this user, if he makes any mistakes about duplicate data, that is all handled because you are following normalization, right? So OLTP and OLAP are nothing but, they are systems wherein in the online transaction processing system, we follow normalization. We want to avoid redundancy, while in OLAP system, we denormalize. We want the selects to be faster.